Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. Today in the ash wastes of a barren wasteland, the Space Wolves with their new Wulfen face off against one spirit, Coven, Eldar, Dark Eldar and their Harlequin allies. We're playing Maelstrom of War Mission 1. The objectives are beside the Thunderwolves, on here by this trench system, behind this derelict bastion, by the comms relay, next to this ruined rhino, the high ground over here. Those are the 6 objectives this game. It is Night Fight. Turn 1. The warlord of the wolves is fearless, making his entire unit of Thunderwolves with an Iron Priest fearless. We also have 5 Grey Hunters in a Razorback. We have a Skari tank that has been converted. Look at that, looks amazing. We also have, on this side, 10 Grey Hunters with Plasma in a Rhino, and the new Wulfen in a Land Raider, sitting in the backfield. In reserve, we have Blood Claws in a Stormwolf. The Dark Eldar, Coven, Harlequins and Eldar start with a Hero's Path formation. We have the Death Jester back there. We have a Solitaire and a Shadowseer deep striking in Venoms that they took from the Dark Eldar army. We have an empty Venom with dual cannons there. 2 Triple Lance Ravagers. A Grotesquerie formation. 3 Grotesques in each Raider there. We have 2 units of Cavalite Warriors in Raiders with Lances coming in from regular reserve. We have outflanking War Walkers that are arriving via regular reserve. A unit of Eldar jet bikes, and an Archon in a dedicated Venom, deep striking with his Venom in a Webway portal with a Farseer and a Heamonculus from the Grotesquerie. And last but not least, 5 Warp Spiders, because LVO says Warp Spiders are awesome. I've been using them for a long time. And let's begin. The Space Wolves, led by Sean, want to try and go first. So, the Dark Eldar will attempt to seize the initiative. And just for you, Mr. Dozerblade, my Warlord trait is pretty useless. It's Rage on my Warlord. So you cannot rage about me getting reroll reserves or anything like that. But that doesn't stop me from trying to seize the initiative. And on a 6, I do seize the initiative. It is now Dark Eldar, turn 1. 1 spirit. Turn 1. We had these grotesques get out by this nothing of note. The Raider moved up and immobilized itself by objective 3. It's a Skyfire Nexus though, and that was one of my objectives. The other 2 cards I got was secure objective 4 twice. Now shooting, 2 Ravagers fired into 1 Land Raider. 1 Ravager missed all 3 times. The other one took a whole point off and blew off one of the last cannons. And then other shooting saw the Rhino be unscathed by the 2 disintegrated cannons on these Raiders, while this Venom over here opened fire into these Thunderwolves, putting 2 wounds on the Iron Priest, killing a Cyberwolf with a Lookout roll, and putting 1 wound on that back guy there. Wow, what an interesting first turn for the Dark Eldar. And now we're moving on to Space Wolf. Turn 1, their objectives being
Stuff of Sagas. Kill an enemy vehicle or monster's creature. If a character does it, get D3 victory points. Overwhelming firepower. And Hold Your Ground, which is a Space Wolf 1, where you pick an objective on my side of the table. If I hold it for 2 turns, it's worth 2 points.
Okay, perfect. And I'm going to pick objective 4. Over here. Okay. But if a character does kill this, then that'll be D3 points. And then we also have overall firepower, just kill an enemy unit in shooting. Okay, so we'll be back after this. 1 saw the Wulfen attempt a very long charge, moving the Land Raider 6, disembarking 6, running 5 inches, needing a 11-inch charge because of the -2 to get into the Ravager, but they did fail even with their reroll. But look at that threat range. Absolutely brutal. The last cannon from the Land Raider blew up the Venom that wounded the Death Jester. Then we had the Heavy Bolter here finish off this Ravager for first blood that had been wounded severely by the Skari tank firing over the hill. Then we also had the Thunderwolves charge in and fail 1, 2, 3 dangerous terrain rolls, and every single failed dangerous terrain roll was a wound. So there's some poetic justice in that there. And then Hammer of Wraths. We had 3 character Hammer of Wraths that failed to kill the Raider, and then 1 numpty Hammer of Wrath that finally took the last hull point that denied Sean D3 victory points for killing it with a character. So, first blood, killing a unit in shooting and having a character kill a tank meant that... having a tank get killed in combat meant that we had 3 points go to the Space Wolves to 1 to the Dark Eldar. So, High Command is telling the Dark Eldar to pain in all its forms and to behind enemy lines. And we also have some reserve rolls to make as well, but I'm going to get a different color dice roll. By popular demand, you'd like to see what I'm rolling. Okay, so turn 2, reserve rolls. First and foremost, I have a 8-man unit of Cabalite Warriors in a Raider. It arrives. I have a 5-man unit of Cabalite Warriors in a Raider. It does not arrive. I have the Archon. Is it on a 3? It is on a 3+.
Yeah,
okay, so they do arrive. Sorry, I'm thinking wonky stuff. I have the Archon in his Venom. He arrives. I have the Shadowseer in his Venom. He does not arrive. I have the Solitaire in his Venom. He does arrive. I have the Warwalkers. They arrive. I have the Warp Spiders. They arrive. I have the Eldar Jetbikes. They arrive. So the only thing that didn't show up was my Shadowseer and a 5-man unit of Cabalite Warriors. And now the battle is joined. Jetbikes boost in the corner, together with the Warwalkers, that together with the Deep Striking Solitaire, wrecked the Skari, thanks to a Haywire Grenade. We had the Deep Striking Venom shriek the Thunderwolves and do nothing, thanks to Storm Shields, even with the -3 leadership from that Venom. Warp Spiders moved up here. Then they were the ones that finished off the Iron Priest and the other Power Fist that was important, because then I charged in 1 unit of Grotesques to finish off the other 2 Thunderwolves. They successfully put 1 wound on the Lord that has some sort of Frost Blade instead of his regular Power Fist, and they did lose 1 Grotesque, but that did give me pain in all its forms. I tried to shoot these guys. They passed pretty much every save. I only killed 1 Wulfen, so they are at large, ready to kill stuff. And the other Grotesque unit that was back here jumped into the Raider, ready to perform to the end of the game. So I did get capture objective 4, which is in the backfield, for a point. I did get 3 units behind enemy lines, so I'm going to be getting a D3, and I'm going to roll a dice that you're all going to be able to see. So D3 for behind enemy lines. That is 3 points. And pain in all its forms. I killed 3 units, 2 in shooting, 1 in combat, which means that I now get D3 pain in all its forms. And I get 1 point for that. Bring my total to 3, 4, 5, 6 points to the Space Wolves, 3 points. And the Space Wolves have Blood Claws in a super tank to come in. Does it?
Yep.
It does. Everything is now joined on the Space Wolf side. On to turn 2. We had the Wulfen charge into the Warp Spiders and kill them all. We had, so that was not glamorous. The Land Raider and this guy here tried to fire at that and this Raider in the back. The Ravager is immobilized with 2 hull points. It is still alive though, and the Raider did not suffer any damage. In combat, the Wolf Lord put 2 more wounds on 1 Grotesque. The other one has 1 wound. They put 1 wound on him, and the Lord passed both of the ones that were going to cause instant death. Rhino, Razorback, Grey Hunters, and Grey Hunters all fired into that Venom. They killed the Venom, and then Plasmas and Bolters put 1 wound on the Heamonculus and 1 wound on the Farseer. And other than that, the Space Wolves have gotten 3 points for securing 2 objectives and killing a unit in close combat for Blood and Guts, which brings their total up to 6 points. That ties the Dark Eldar at the moment. It is still a close game. So, Blood and Guts for the Dark Eldar in turn. Big Game Hunter, which is kill a tank. And Supremacy, which is control at least 2 objective markers and at least twice as many as your opponent. And now rolling for reserves, I have a unit of 5-man warriors to come in. So I have 5 guys in a raider. They do not arrive. And I have the Shadow Seer. He does arrive in his deep striking venom. Let's see what happens. So, Supremacy. I got the Solitaire out. He's in that building hiding. And his venom took that Skyfire Nexus. This unit of Cabalite Warriors came in and took that objective. And then we had that guys move around. He move out here. A lot of shooting saw 1 wound go on the Wulfen because they are making saves. This jinked, and I hit it with a blaster and 3 lance and 1 lance, and I didn't do any damage. And then over here, I deep struck the venom here. It scattered back there with the Shadow Seer that jumped out. The Archon and his posse jumped back in, and then I screamed 7 out of the plasma unit. They're running here, but then I was unable to do additional damage to these 2 units, even with the pinning weapons and everything. So they held, which is quite awesome. In the back here, the 2 Scatterlaser Warwalkers with Bright Lance put 1 hull point on that Rhino. So I did not get Big Game Hunter. My Grotesques died against the Wolf Lord, so they did not get Blood and Guts. But I did get Supremacy. So rolling for D3 points for Supremacy. 1 point. And I will be getting rid of Blood and Guts because I don't want to be forced into charging him. And I will keep Big Game Hunter on the table. Okay, we're moving on to Space Wolf turn 3. So this raider here made every jinx save against everything and then forced the Wulfen to charge it to wreck it. With the Lord wrecking it. So they just hopped out there. The Shadow Seer died a horrible, hideous death with plasma, and then that venom died, but then the occupants are fine in combat. So Sean did get 1 point for securing Objective 1. His others were Secure Objective 4 and Domination, which he has discarded Domination. He has gained 1 more point, bringing his total up to 7, which means that we are still tied. 7-7. The Death Jester also died, getting charged and challenged by Wolfguard pack leader, and the Ravager finally died as well as the Blood Claws just went in and ripped everybody to shreds. So moving on to turn 4. High Command for the Dark Eldar still has Big Game Hunter, has ordered us to secure Objective 1 that's held by a Rhino right now, and to secure Objective 6, which is where these jet bikes are already. Okay, moving on to the next turn. The Warwalkers did nothing to the Rhino, absolutely nothing. The Solitaire jumped out, murdered the 3 Grey Hunters just by rolling 6s to hit in combat, just destroyed them. The Grotesques moved back, joined by the Heamonculus. They raged in and destroyed the 5-man unit. And then the Farseer split off and the Archon split off. And that Wulfen made 9 shriek saves with his, with his Storm Shield. In this flank, we had the Cabalite Warriors disembark from their raider and shoot down 3, including the Terminator leader. While this jinking tank took a hull point from the raider lance up here. I did not get Objective 1. I did not Big Game Hunter, and I did take Objective 6. So I discarded Objective 1, keeping Big Game Hunter for killing a tank, hopefully in the last ends of the game. So the Space Wolves will now go to their turn 4. Okay, interesting turn. We had the Farseer die to a last cannon. The Archon died to the charging Warlord. And then the Wulfen made short work of the grotesques with their strength 10 Thunderhammers. And they did pass an incredible amount of saves, again, against all my instant death attacks, which was pretty good for the Wulfen. Over here, the Blood Claws charged in. There's 4 Blood Claws left, and 2 Cabalite Warriors insanely courageously did not run away from that combat. But with Warlord and with killing a unit in hand-to-hand, the Wolves are at 9 points when the Spirit series is at 8 points. We still have a Big Game Hunter, and the next 2 cards are Trophy Hunter, which is Dark Eldar 1, and Assassinate, which is to kill a character. So, my objectives: Big Game Hunter had to kill a tank. Trophy Hunter had to kill. He nominated his Wulfen character and objective by the Razorback to get 2 points if I got them both this turn, or 1 point if I did one or the other. And Assassinate was kill a character. So I was able to finally kill that Razorback with the last lance shot. This venom took the last wound off the Lord, and my Solitaire blitzed in, killed the character barely, and survived all the other hits, thanks to being Eternal Warrior and 3+ invulnerable save. While this combat is a numpty combat, they are just tied there, stuck there, no damage done on either side. And these jet bikes have boosted up because the Stormwolf is off the table, wants to come on to try and take that. It is objective secured. I'm trying to make it as hard as possible for him to get that objective. But I did get Big Game Hunter, I got Trophy Hunter, and I got Assassinate, and we also got Warlord Kill, which does mean that I get 4 points at this crucial stage in the game. Moving on to turn 5 for the Space Wolves. We had this come on here. Jinking jet bikes suffered no damage. The Blood Claws finally killed the 2 Cabalite Warriors. They lost one of their number though. In combat, the 2 Thunderhammers finally killed the Solitaire. They've consolidated towards that objective, gaining them kill an enemy character. He also gained behind enemy lines with the Blood Claws, adding 2 more points. So right now it's 11 points plus Linebreaker later. So 12 points to 12 points plus Linebreaker. So 13 points. So by a 1 point difference right now. And does the game continue to turn? It ends with a 1 point victory for the Dark Kin. Sean, fantastic game. What an absolute bloodbath. Make sure you stay tuned to the Tactical Corner, where I'll talk a little bit about the tactics of using the list I used. Sean, any comments?
Love the new Wulfen. They're awesome. Great buff piece, and they're amazing combat unit. No, very back and forth game.
Yeah, it was decided on turn 5 with the Dark Eldar taking 4 points right at the end, and the Wolves just not being able to keep up with that. Such a close difference. That is what 40k is all about. Make sure you check the links down below for additional content and the blog. And thanks a lot for tuning in. This is Skari, your grateful host, signing off. Until next time, Skari out. Hello and welcome to another Tactical Corner. So today I played against Sean and his new Wulfen with a 1 spirit list, focusing on the freak show, leadership shenanigans, and psychic scream from telepathy, which is pretty cool. The Wulfen were amazing, like Thunderwolves, but more resilient, just as fast, but with feel no pain, and with a lot of power fists. They were really nasty. I've played against the Thunderwolves before, and the Wulfen were just, their threat range was incredible, and they soaked up so much firepower. All in all, the tactics this game really relied about leadership debuffs. And I was really hoping to use
Psychic Scream, or whatever it's called, to shriek them off the table. And I was able to do that with Grey Hunters, forcing leadership tests. It was all in all a very good tactic, using the rest of my army to focus on things like the tanks and whatnot. The Shadowseer, the Farseer, the Archon, they all did their leadership debuff shenanigans, really did some work. But all in all, this game really showcased the resiliency of the Wulfen, and also the ability to kind of play the game to the very end. It was a very diverse Maelstrom of War game, and I hope you learned a little bit about movement, target priority, and a combination of different things. My MVP was the Solitaire. I really enjoyed playing him, and I cannot wait to get those Harlequins painted. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.